Those are the only people who fail in business. Everyone else succeeds. So you can actually make a decision that you will succeed eventually because you're never going to give up and you're actually going to start. So the superhero thing to do is you need to start. But then the next superhero thing is you need to get back up when you fail. Is it possible to do impossible things? My name is Joseph Darling. This is the Men of High Value channel. Today we are discussing how you can learn to eventually be able to do impossible things. All of us have a superhero in us. And that superhero is designed to come out at some point. But it is a decision that we must make at some point, and you can make that decision. Even if you have the hardest time with realizing that you can actually do great things, you can make a decision today, and then we have to just figure out what must happen in order for you to eventually achieve that impossible goal. Superheroes. That's what we want to be. That's what I want to help you to become. So let's think about some examples that could be a superhero thing to do. If you have an addiction today, you're going to require yourself to, in some way, shape, or form, be a superhero to get yourself out of that addiction. No matter which addiction it is. And we're going to talk about that. How about, for example, benching 200 kilos as an example? That maybe is an extreme example, but hey, impossible things, right? It sounds freakishly impossible, but it is possible if you make a decision and then follow the process that I'm going to share with you. And the last one, let's say $1 million. Very few people ever manage to get to $1 million net worth in their lifetimes, and it's a superhero thing to do, but there is a process to it, and you simply need to make a decision that I will eventually achieve what's impossible for me today and make it possible. Yes, you can. Okay, so how do we go about doing this? There's only one thing, really, that you need to understand. You need to believe that you can. You make the decision today, you don't believe you can. Can you make the decision to believe you can? That's the only thing you need to be able to do. Now, obviously, there's a process of things that need to happen over that time span, but it's the same principle. The question is, as an example right now, can you manage to bench press 20 kilos? Just the bar. Are you capable of doing that? If you can't, that's where you need to start. Then maybe next week I'll be able to do 25 kilos. The following week, maybe I can do 30 kilos. The following week, I can do 35 kilos. What is the most important thing that you're doing there? You are doing a superhero thing, but in the now. The superhero thing, becoming a master, simply has to do with you doing that small thing right now consistently over a long period of time. Our bodies and our brains are designed in such a way as to be able to develop our bodies and brains. Imagine if we just remained the same forever. Like life would not have any purpose or meaning. We as a species, we as also individuals are designed to progress and to evolve, which means we can change things about ourselves. We can actually do things that are impossible in the future because other people have done them in the past. We can even achieve things that no one else has achieved in the past, and that's where you get world records from. It's amazing what the human brain and the human body can do if we make a decision to do the impossible, but then we have to start the journey as well and do the superhero thing. And the superhero thing to do is to get a small win. And it is these small wins done repeatedly over a long period of time that creates the huge win at the end of the rainbow. It's the same thing with the $1 million. How do you start the $1 million process? You need a job in the beginning, right? Eventually, you need to replace that job or those jobs with a business. If you never establish a business, it's going to take an extremely long period of time to save up the money to become a millionaire with the job, because the job stands for just over broke, right? So you have to at some point develop the desire to start a business and to exponentially grow it into a net worth for you, so profits for you of $1 million eventually. That's a superhero thing to do, to start a business, because most people fail when they start a business, but everyone who starts and then keeps going and gets small wins along the way in that business will eventually succeed. The people that don't succeed are the people that never start or who quit. Those are the only people who fail in business. Everyone else succeeds. So you can actually make a decision that you will succeed eventually, because you're never going to give up and you're actually going to start. So the superhero thing to do is you need to start. But then the next superhero thing is you need to get back up when you fail. And it all starts with you making a decision today. Will I choose to do something impossible in my future? Yes or no? Say yes. Once you've made that decision, now it is about you getting small wins repeatedly over a long period of time. When you fail, you simply get back up and improve the situation, try to learn from it, and see, how can I be happy about this loss? How can I be happy about what happened just now? The way to be happy about it is to think that, oh, I've already won. You've already won if you know you've started and you never quit. So if you know you've already won, that means that you've won the war already, which means you can be fired up outside your brain every single day, all the time, even though you're failing on the way to get there. If you're not failing, you're actually moving backwards. When you are failing, you're moving forward. How weird is that? But this is how the laws work. If you want massive amounts of success, you have to be willing to go through massive amount of failures. And that's what I want you to do. You actually need to learn to lose well. Whenever you do anything, whether it's addiction. Let's say you want to try and overcome any form of addiction. If you are doing it again when you've already said, I'm never going to do that again, and then it happens again, how do you talk to yourself after that failure? If you're talking to yourself,
oh man, I did it again. I can't believe I'm so stupid. I'm so foolish, blah, 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 blah.
Are you now moving yourself closer to your win? Or are you moving yourself further away? Did you actually remember that you made a decision that you actually are going to win in the future? Because if you remember that decision, and you remember that you've started the process, and you remember that you also will never quit, then you're going to eventually become stronger and stronger, which means you will eventually win. So you talking to yourself negatively about what just happened, in many ways, it's a lie. It's false information that you are accepting as reality, because you've already won if you just never give up. You will become stronger on a daily basis as long as you actually are learning from your failures and you're beginning to research how you can improve the situation. All of the information you have about overcoming addiction is found on this channel. I've got so much for you of how to overcome addiction, any addiction. But this is the information. This is everything simplified in this video. And it's the same thing with the $1 million. Have you made a decision to pay yourself first? Every single paycheck that you get, you take a huge percentage of that paycheck and you put it into investments or set it aside until there are good investments that are presented to you. Because if you do that repeatedly over a long period of time, and you add business development on top of that, you will arrive to that $1 million eventually, no matter what. It's physically impossible for you not to arrive, because the laws of the universe has made it so that as long as you start the process and you never ever give up and you learn from your failures and you keep improving through research, you're eventually going to arrive. And I'm excited for you. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.